Look at these, aren't they beautiful?
Hello everyone, this is Chantal from Gardening with Peaceful Living NH. I said I'm not going to do this, but I did it anyways. I went and I bought a whole bunch of annuals and perennials from the big box store, and I committed the egregious sin. So the reason why I said that I'm not going to do this, I don't think I mentioned this in any video, but I've said this to myself, was because I'm focused on a specific project on our property and I want to allocate most of the budget to that project. But these were such a good buy and they were so beautiful that I just could not resist. I was at Walmart with my kids and we stopped by the booth where they have all of these beautiful flowers, and my daughters and I were oohing and ahhing and we had to get some stuff. So the kids picked some stuff. My son wanted to pick an astilbe to plant it in his garden, but I told him it's a shade-loving perennial, and he was pretty sad because he really liked it, and their garden is in full sun, my kids' garden. So let me show you first what I have and just give you a little bit of clues of what to look for when you are shopping at the big box store for plants like these, because you want to make sure to pick the healthiest of them all. My daughter and I already planted this peony over here. This is the Sarah Bernhardt peony. My youngest picked this one. It's absolutely gorgeous, so we thought we'll plant it early. It says to plant it after all danger of frost. I did make sure to bury the growth that was on it. Maybe I should put something over it just to protect it, but I didn't. So we'll see. Hopefully it's going to come up. These are all $5.42. So that's a really good buy, with exception to these over here. I don't even remember how much these were. I think they were like $4, close to $5. I got these from Ace Hardware, but these I got them from Walmart. We also picked a couple dahlias. My oldest daughter picked these. This is the Patches right here. It's a beautiful, beautiful color on it. Gorgeous. And I told her it would be so beautiful with this one right here, and she agreed. This is the Crazy Love. I love this one. Oh, isn't it gorgeous? Look at it. It's absolutely gorgeous. This is my first time getting dahlia tubers. Last season was my first time planting dahlias in general, and I started them from seed and I fell in love with them. But I've always wanted to try the tubers because they have such beautiful varieties, and you are guaranteed to get the right variety when you start it from tubers. When you start dahlias from seed, you're not guaranteed to get the color that you are expecting. But with the tubers, you're definitely getting the color that you see on the pictures, whether you are buying them from big box stores or online. I've also picked some clematis because I cannot have enough clematis. I think like hydrangeas, clematis are one of those things that I'm probably going to have a whole lot of in my garden. So I picked up 2 of the Jackmanii clematis because I have a special place I want to plant them in, at least one of them, but I picked 2 because I thought just in case if one of them doesn't make it, I want to have a replacement. So I got 2 of the Jackmanii clematis, and these are spring and summer, no, not spring. These are summer and fall bloomers. So if you do cut it back a little bit after it blooms in the summer, it's going to bloom again later in the summer or early fall. And so I'm super excited about this one over here. And I also got the Bees Jubilee clematis. Isn't this beautiful? Look at this. It's gorgeous. I love this one. I believe this one is also, yes, it blooms twice, early summer, late summer, or early fall. Again, if you cut it back, it's going to bloom better for you if you cut it back in the later summer. I believe this might be the group 2 clematis, but I'm not sure. I also got bleeding hearts. I've been looking for this color of bleeding hearts, the pink with the white, for several years, and I haven't been able to find it anywhere near me. But when I saw it at Walmart, I had to get it. So I got 2 of them. They each have 2 plants in them. And I'm going to be planting these in the new flower bed that I've made behind the house on the north side of our house, a large flower bed that I've started last season. I'm super excited about these. I have a white bleeding heart. So these are kind of a spring ephemeral. They will bloom very early in the spring, and then once the summer heat starts, they will kind of just peter out and you won't see their foliage anymore. I'm not sure if this is the same as the white one that I have, that it will do that, or if its foliage is going to last throughout the summer. We'll see. It would be nice if its foliage lasted because their foliage is beautiful. But if it doesn't, that's okay. I will have to plant it behind some perennials or shrubs so that if it does peter out in the summer, I will be able to have something beautiful in its place. I'm going to put these gloves on because my hands are freezing. And then once we are done talking about all these plants, we are going to pot them up and tell you what I'm going to do with them, because it's still cold over here. We're still going down into the low 20s, so I don't want to risk putting them outside yet. And this one right here is the globe thistle, or echinops, and I grew up with echinops growing everywhere in our yard. It was a weed where I grew up, but it's beautiful. I've always loved it, and this is a great pollinator plant. Oh, and this is hardy down to zone 2, so if you are in a really cold climate, you can plant echinops. It's a perennial. So here are some of the things that you should look for when you are looking to buy plants from the big box stores. When it comes to dahlias, one of the things that I have noticed is that a lot of them had mold on them, and I'm starting to see some mold on this one because I got these probably last week and have been meaning to plant them, but I haven't gotten to it, so we are going to be planting them today. But this is what the mold looks like. Let me pull it out and show you. And on most of them there was mold. We were trying to pick a different one also, but that one had mold on it, and I'm starting to see it on this one. So we really have to plant these ASAP, and hopefully this will make it. You can see right there the green mold, and here on that side right there, and that can really damage a tuber. So this is one thing to look for. Also, you want to make sure that the tubers don't look black, or they're not drying up, they're not desiccated, that they look somewhat plump and fresh, because dahlia tubers are also susceptible to fungal diseases, and they can have a disease, I think it's called gall or something of the sort. I don't remember the exact name. I'll put it on the screen. I can't remember the name for some reason. But anyways, so this is one thing to look for when it comes to dahlias. When it comes to perennials and shrubs and these things, if they come in these bags like these, just make sure that you see a growth point on there, or I also like to see a little bit of growth on them. So if I bring this closer to you, you'll see something alive in there. You can see it right there. And if I'm not seeing any growth, I'm not going to buy it, because I've bought things like this before where I have not seen any growth on them and none of them came up. So I like to see some growth on them, and I would rather plant them and store them in a safe place where they're not going to get frost while seeing some growth on them, rather than not seeing any growth and risking the possibility of not having any plant grow, because the growth is going to guarantee to me that this plant is alive. So this is what I looked for in all of these clematis and the bleeding heart. I just made sure to see some growth. Also, same thing with the peony. And this is why I like these bags over here, because you can see through them easily and you can tell if your plant is alive, if it has, when it comes to dahlias, if they have any sort of a disease on them, because the fungal disease that the dahlias suffer from can infect the soil also, and it can infect other tubers. So you just want to pay attention to that. These boxes are not ideal, but I have never seen these anywhere, and I don't have seeds for them, and I haven't started them. I haven't even thought about it, but when I saw them, I thought, you know what, I'm going to grab a couple of these and plant them in our butterfly garden. I think this is going to be really beautiful. They also make really nice cut flowers and nice dried flowers also, because they hold on to their color really well. So if you want to do some wreaths or something of the sort, this is perfect for that. And once I have enough of these, I think I'm going to try to make a wreath out of them, even though they're so pokey, but their color is just gorgeous. So let's go ahead and get these planted, and then I'll tell you how I'm going to store them until it's time to plant them outside. I have these gallon pots over here for most of these, but for these right here, the echinops, I got these Proven Winner containers. I think this is the quartz right here. I like to save these because they're really good containers, and I just don't want to waste the plastic, and it saves on both money, and this is great recycling. So Let's see, maybe we'll start with the echinops over here because I've had these for a couple weeks and I kept forgetting about them, maybe 3 weeks. So this is not ideal. Hopefully they are alive. They put them in this kind of peat moss. I think it's all peat moss in here because it holds on to moisture, so it keeps the roots moist, and you don't need a lot of moisture, so it prevents rotting. And these roots are looking pretty good. Yeah, I'm tied. I'm not sure what is the top and what is the bottom right now. We'll have to experiment and see. Okay, so this is the bottom, and you want to plant this about 1 inch below the soil level. You know what? I'm going to put this back over here. I'm not so sure when I use that soil. It's super moist. I have other soil right here. Maybe I'll mix them together. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the roots in, and we are going to cover it with about 1 inch of soil. The top of the root, that is. Just make sure to pack down your soil around the root to prevent air gaps. Just like that. I feel like I want to make sure the crown is about 1 inch. We don't want it to be any deeper than that because they like to have the cool temperature on the crown. And if we bury it too deep, it's going to get too warm and probably not going to bloom. I need to label them. Before we continue, let me tell you how deep to plant each of these things. When it comes to clematis, you want to plant them about 4 to 6 inches below ground level because clematis likes to be buried deep. For the bleeding heart, you want to bury about 1 inch below ground level. And for the dahlias, about 1 to 2 inches below ground level. Now let's get going. Look how tiny this is. They're all planted. I watered them. I actually ended up with 5 dicentras or bleeding heart. I recorded everything. Well, I tried to record, but my phone kept turning off because it kept saying that the phone storage is full. So I'm trying again, and let's see if this is going to work. I tried to empty a lot of stuff off of it. Hopefully this is going to work. So I watered the plants already. I ended up with 5 dicentra or bleeding hearts, and I'm happy about that. So most of these plants are going to go into the garage. Basically, it's going to act like a cold frame, which is basically a greenhouse, but without the heating. So this way, they are going to get acclimated to the cool weather, and then once the temperatures start to warm up, then we are going to move them outside, probably over the period of a few days, bring them in and out from the garage to outside so that they can get acclimated to the weather. And by that time, they probably would have started putting on their growth because we don't want that growth to be nipped by the heavy frost. When it comes to the dahlias, those are going to go in the basement. Unfortunately, I ended up with some rotted tubers, even though I tried my best to pick the best tubers and I checked if they're firm. As I have mentioned, a lot of the tubers at Walmart had mold on them and they were soft, and I tried my best to pick the best ones, but I think because I left them inside for a couple weeks before planting them, that could have caused this. I love you too, sweetie. That could have caused this issue. Maybe this is my fault, I'm not sure, because I did leave them at basically 70, 73 temperatures for the period of 2 weeks. But when it comes to the dahlias, we're going to let them stay in the basement, which is around 65, something like that. So they're going to stay at that temperature around 65 to 50 Fahrenheit, and I think that's going to be totally okay. And I did give them some water, but I'm not going to water them after this time until they start putting on some growth. At that time, then I will start giving them more water. You don't want to keep the soil super soaked because dahlia tubers are susceptible to rot again. Just pay attention to that. When it comes time to planting, I will take you outside with me and show you where these plants are going to be planted. I'm super excited about that, especially the clematis. I can't wait for those to get into the ground and just bloom and be happy. I would think that it's going to take them about 2 seasons, at least 2 years, to start putting on those beautiful blooms, because these are pretty small plants, and I don't expect them to bloom this year for me, but I'm hoping that they will put on some growth this year. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something new, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye!
Look at these. Aren't they beautiful?
Yes, they are.
I had these for probably 3 years now. And this winter, I put them in the garage for 2 months. I totally forgot about them to put them before Christmas. So I put them during Christmas into the garage for 2 months to dry out completely. And then I pulled them out and I wanted them to hopefully bloom around Easter. And we're probably like 2 weeks away from Easter, and look at them. They are all blooming and they're gorgeous. And one of them actually has 2 bloom stalks on it. And I am so happy with them. I've been giving them fertilizer once a week and they are loving it. Look at their leaves also. They're so gorgeous and healthy. I didn't put them outside in the summer. I left them here in this room, in this grow room over here, and just left them next to the light as you are seeing them right now, and they love it apparently. I mean, look at these gorgeous blooms here. This is my favorite, this one. Let me see if I can. Isn't that beautiful?
I like the red one.
You like the red one? It is beautiful too. I love
And
this
also
one
the pink
also. Yeah,
ones.
this kind of peachy red color. It's beautiful. I love them all.
And Mama,
So yes, sweetie.
look, these are blooming too.
I know. I need to cut them back though. We don't want them to bloom right now. I forgot what I was going to say. Yes, I just wanted to show you this little clip of these beautiful amaryllis blooming, just to see something happy in the spring.